So we can start our primary discussion. So we were actually in a position to talk about personal macro workbook, but before explaining personal macro workbook, I want to share you a query, a very popular query. That means you have an Excel workbook, and in that Excel workbook you have some macro, or you have some code, or you have some VBA code, whatever you can tell it, and just you have apply it and saved your file. But when you open, your Excel file, it doesn't work. Or you have a macro, it works for a specific Excel workbook, but it doesn't work for multiple Excel workbook. Multiple Excel workbook, that means it doesn't work for all Excel workbooks. So one thing I have already shared with you, that some of the codes, say rename or insert column, say this time I am going to apply some other positions. So that area, no problem. So my VBA code that I have already attached here in Excel file, say here I have attached all the tabs, it's going to work like my other tabs. Say you have a data tab, or you have the data, or you can apply text to column. You can apply text to column, fixed length, next. So by using that one, so it's a very common, and you can apply the same tab and text to column for every type of Excel workbooks. But in many cases, when we apply the VBA code, say when we are going to apply a raw VBA code, so when you are going to apply a raw VBA code, so definitely you will have to start with a subroutine function. So subroutine function, so my VBA, I'm going to have a name, my VBA, and I'm just putting enter, and this time I'm going to have a int sub. So here I'm just putting very simple logic. This is the range A1, closing the bracket, and it's equal 5. So here I'm just selecting that one, sorry, and going to execute by run button. So going to execute by run button. So here I'm having 5, the value 5. So you can notice or not, I didn't know. Say here I have just put this value, and I'm going to hit enter. So this time I am operating this Excel sheet through my VBA window. So if I close this button, this macro is not going to be saved for further use. The thing you will have to do first, you will have to save this file as macro enable file. First you will have to save your file as macro enable file. So how we can do that macro enable file? So if you are a frequent VBA user, so you can change your default option first. You can also change your default option, say options and formula save. So here is an option when you are hitting your file, then Excel options and save option you are selecting. So there is a default setting there, save file in this formats. That means in every time when you are going to say just click file and save, it's going to show you the default option Excel workbook. So you can also change the you can also change the options also. But most of the user, I hope you are not working with VBA every time. So be careful before changing these options, because each time if you select this one as a default one, your all file will be macro enable file. So you can also change the default one also, or you can do it when you are going to save your file. When you are going to file, just click save or save as, browse your computer location. So this time I'm selecting my desktop, input your name, and before hitting save, just select the down arrow, and there will be all the possible options here. Just select macro enable options, and say I'm going to input my simple macro, and you can check the extension number XLSM. Just let me save this file. Desktop, third class, and VBA. Okay, it's all done. So just hit that one and save. If I cut it down and open it once again, and above macros. So if I go, so my VBA file is still open, I hope. So if you use only single Excel workbook, then you will get this code in your file. But this code is not going to work for other Excel workbooks. So this file, that means you have saved that one, my simple macro. You can apply the code for this file only, not for all the Excel workbook. So here is the crucial thing. If you want to apply the same code, this is very simple, but when you are going to apply a very large code, it's not always easy to write down by organic way. That means every time you are not going to type one by one, because there are so many large Excel macro workbooks. So I can show you just now. So here is the background setup that I have already created for my own personal use. So these are actually the code. So it is not always easy to develop this type of code every time. Just VBA developer, what do they develop this code for once and apply for whole lifetime. So you have to learn how to set this macro Excel workbook to apply for every type of Excel workbook. So the solution lies actually on personal macro workbook. So if you save a code in your personal macro workbook, so definitely you are going to use the code. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, it's fine. So how we can save a file as personal file? The technique I'm going to show you right now. Say you have almost known recording macro process. Recording macro process. So this is the indirect way to generate VBA code. So macro recording. So I have already shown you that the developer tab is the gateway to get enter for the VBA code. So on the right side, you are going to have some options. This is called the Visual Basic. This is the IDE that we have already opened here. So this option, if we hit that button, it's going to take you to the IDE. The record macro is the option. It will start recording macro. That means it's going to record your every step, and it will give you an option to save it and for future use. And your recorded macro will be available in the macros tab. So if I hit that one, you can easily check your recorded macro. That means every type of saved macro code will be available here. So I'm just cutting down, and let me show you how to start a record macro. So you can also add this button to your quick access toolbar. Say like me, I have already added your record macro. So just right click and add it to your quick access toolbar. So this time it's not available because I have already added this one. So this one, my record macro. So just you can use Alt or shortcut key. Alt for me is recording macro. So let me show you one example how we can do that and have some benefits. Say here my tab name, and I'm just writing Habib _1. Okay, and I'm just taking a demo data, and I have some repeated name. Say copy, say V, and 11. So I have some repeated name. You can also check it through using conditional formatting, duplicate values. Okay, so this time I have some repeated values, and I want to convert it as a unique list, and I'm expecting that I need to have this file for permanent way. That means in every time I'm going to have the unique list. So what is the manual process we actually do? Say Control C and Control V, and just going to the data tab and just removing duplicates, and this time I'm getting a unique list. But what will happen if I have thousands of value there and it's continuing updating every time, then every time I need to do Control C and then Control V, and again going data tab, remove duplicate, and okay. But if I want to do it show a macro, how we can do that. So let me start. So first of all, just choose this button, record a macro. So record a macro, just there, that one. And when I'm hitting record a macro, it's showing me a pop-up window, additional options. So it's asking me a name. So I'm putting just name, auto duplication, automatic duplicate remove, but remove, REV. So I have just put it a name. So here is the crucial things. Please notice very carefully. So by default, it's going to show you store macro in. By default, this is this workbook. So, but when you are putting down this down arrow, so you are getting some options. The very first option is personal macro workbook. So personal macro workbook. So my suggestion is that very first time when you are going to record a macro, at least save a macro with a personal macro workbook. So when you will save even a single macro in a personal macro workbook, so you are going to have your this file available here. So let me cut it down because I'm going to show you that part also. So this option will be available on your screen first. So once you have saved one file in your personal macro workbook, so I have already done it here. So that time I'm not going to do it. Just you can do it by yourself and let me know what happens in your own PC. So this time I'm just going to hit here and auto duplicate remove. I have just give a symbol name and I'm just using this one here, this workbook, and I'm hitting OK. So now my macro is recording. So stop recording, it's showing me. So now it's very careful as your every step is recording. So to stop or avoiding some unnecessary step, you should do the necessary activity first. Okay, so what I did earlier, just select this one, Control C and Control V, and go to the data tab and click remove duplicate and hit OK. Okay, so you have got your unique list. So your activity are done. That means what the step you have done, all are finished. Now just close your macro or stop your recording. So stop your recording. So you have already run a macro and you have saved your activity. But how you can repeat this activity by your own works? There are some two options. Multiple options are available, but I'm going to show you only two. Say insert a shape. This time you can just put it there, or you can hold Alt key to make a specific size. Insert, just hold your Alt key and you are going to apply same size. Just that I'm putting down and it's exactly marched to the bar, to the data grid. If I go to the right, it's going to the exactly. So if you want to have the exact size up to the bar, then choose Alt and then drag and drop. Otherwise, you can just move here and there, no problem. So this is actually a trick circuit. Then just give a name. So this time I'm putting removing duplicate. Okay, Control A. You can just resize or formatting your some of the options. You can it alerts your settings. You can move it different color. You can choose palettes. These are the very small glimpse of Excel. So this time it's not so visible. So you can do it. Give a name, no matter the spelling. So just selecting that one, right click and assign a macro. Right click and assign a macro. Just assign a macro. And since I have lots of macro coded saved here, so you'll have to find your own one. So this time I have auto duplicate remove. Actually that was our expected. So just select that one and hit OK. So here I have just deleted that part, and if I get one, so I'm getting that one. So let me change blue. I've changed the name boy, and again just suffix so that I can have drag and drop, okay, and just let me do some repetition. As I'm doing repetition, it's highlighting me, so using conditional formatting. Just wait. Okay, so you have got that there are lots of duplicate values. So this time if I hit that one, so what will happen? My automation will be done. Here. So just let me do it by closing all that part. Delete. Sorry. Okay, so this time I have got only two repetition and only 3 are unique. So if I did that one, so I'm getting my unique list. So this is actually the benefit of using VBA. That means you have used copy, you have paste there, you have gone there, you have removed duplicate there, finally click OK. So your 4 or 5 steps are recorded here. For 4 or 5 steps recorded here. When you are going to hit that button, it's going to show you the update there. There are some also provision to make automation. The procedure is a little bit difficult right now, so I'm not showing you, but there is an option that you can do it automatically. Your macro will be run on the background. So this is actually the use of personal macro, and how we can record a macro I have already shown you. And another thing that I wanted to show, I had created a customized tab, that one. So if I want to put that file here for using every type of workbook, so what I can do, just right click and customize ribbon, and then from here you'll have to use macros, and here is the options, or this is my code that I created for that operation. So now I'm choosing that one and that one, and I'm hitting to the add button. So command needs to be added to your custom group. Sorry, I need to select this one. So add here. So if I choose rename option, it will allow me to add some symbol. So this time what the symbol I can do, smile I can choose, and I have changed, let me change the rename, auto renaming tab. Okay, finally I'm going to hit OK and final OK. So let me make it clear once again. So this time I am going to hit this auto renaming tab. It's working. So I have already created a custom user defined function. So there is a little different way. So you have created your own function in the Excel ribbon. You have created your own functions in the Excel ribbon. Just delete it and hit that one. You don't need to keep it there. Just cut it down, throw it away. You don't need to insert any symbol. So you have just added a functions, custom user defined functions in your ribbon, and finally you are hitting that one. It's going to work. Say
I have a question.
Sir, please.
You save this in this workbook. That means when you close this Excel, it will not work.
Yes, it will not work, because
so if we save this in personal section, then it will show in every Excel.
Yeah, every Excel. So I'm going to show you that technique also. So what the thing you will do, say this is my developer tab and this is my macro, and where is the file? This one. So if you need to check the what is actually the look of macro, you need to just select that one and step into, just write down step into or edit step into. So this is actually your code. So this is actually your raw code which is working behind to run this activity. So when you have saved your macro workbook file, say here, this is my module 1 is my master file. So just go down. Once you have already created the very first one, so you will get only up to that. This is your very first one. So after that, just add one by one, add one by one. Okay, just hit enter and paste, So here is an additional section, and save this personal macro module. macro module. So this time I'm going to cut down of the debugger. Okay, no problem. Cut down all the files. Don't need to save. I will remove every Excel file, and finally I'm going to apply a new file. So if I put it this code into a personal macro area, then definitely it's going to work you forever, until and unless you reinstall your Microsoft Office and finally you are doing. I'm doubtful that this code is work here, because I have added when it was on personal macro workbook. So let me check. Control C, Control V. Okay, so what did I put? It's enable. It's not working because when we saved that file, it was on personal macro workbook. So what the thing I need to do? Customize ribbon, and I want to remove, and finally I want to add it here once again. Is the code is available there? This time just check the name. Personal AUTDU Davis. The name has been changed. Just a minute, Baba. Sorry for the disturbance. My kids was insisting me for playing. Okay, no problem. So this time the name has been changed. So if I add this here and do the same thing once again, this one, and change the name, say remove duplicate. Okay, and just close your workbook, save. Okay, so I don't need to save it that way. Just let me gone away, because I have already. So just let me check with a fresh Excel workbook, because I have already added this tab into my personal macro workbook. So my expectation is that now it will be available for my new workbook also. New_1. So let me do that. Just make some repetition so that I can understand. 6, 6, 6. Okay. And finally, just select that one and remove duplicates. So this time it's working. Okay. Have you got the point?
So what happened now?
What happened
Actually?
now? That means this tab is permanent for your any Excel workbook. The activity, that means this 4 step. That means you are copying, you are pasting, you are removing your duplicate, and finally having the unique values. So these steps have permanently saved in your ribbon. So you can use this for any Excel workbook, until and unless you are going to reinstall your Excel Microsoft Office or setting your operating system. So the class I have taken, the almost the application, I think for a non-programmer, I think this part is really very important. Another thing is that I can help you guys. The collection of VBA code I can share. This code collection, the first thing we have, when you are going to use any automation, just go internet and have search. Say multiple find and replace. Just write down your query and just add another word, VBA. So it's going to show you some guidance related to VBA suggestion. Just collect a code, just collect a code like that way. It's very simple. You don't need to be a programmer. Just collect a code and open your Excel file. Just before adding, just check this code is actually working or not. Say this time open, I have just opened my file, go to developer tab. Just Alt F11 or just go to the editor and open your personal macro workbook area. This is the module 1, is my core area, and just go to the bottom side and you just need to paste the code. So it's going to add here. But one thing very seriously notice, before adding any code here, just make a dry run, because in many of the cases some of the options are added customized. That means folder path, the folder path may be different for you. The person who developed that code, his sheet name was lookup, but in case of you the name may not be lookup. So you'll have to address this thing and make your own changes, and then finally add it here and save the button. Then you will be able to apply that code for your every type of Excel workbook. So for better convenience, what the thing I can do, you can collect, say, what I have done for my own personal use. I have collected more than 100 VBA code for my own personal uses, and I just keep it saved there for my own personal use. So you can have also the same, and you can add it to your personal macro workbook, and definitely you can have the maximum benefit of VBA. You don't need to be a programmer. You don't need to write. The so far the activity I have shown you. Did you see any activity of writing raw code? I didn't show you any.
No, we didn't see.
Okay, but you can have the benefit of maximum of this. You don't need to be a programmer, but you can use the developed code from a programmer. It's fair, I think. So what did you say? Okay.
I think it's fair, and it is very useful.
Useful.
As what we need, we can find it from internet.
Yes,
A lot of code is
yes.
there, actually.
Because learning writing that course is not easy, because it's almost 1 or 2 years journey for me. Okay, the time is up already, I think, because this is a 1 hour schedule. So I would like to disconnect this class right now. Don't. আগে শেষ করে নি বাবা।
Please share the code with us.
Oh, okay, no problem. Just knock me through my messenger, and I'm going to. Okay.
Thank you so much
Share
for this wonderful class.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the next class.
Thank you.
very
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir, please share the. Sir, please share the code.
Okay, no problem. Just send me a knock on my messenger or any group. I will, so that I can find you.
Okay.
Can you send
sir.
on
Okay,
WhatsApp, please?
Sure. Okay, no problem. Just
Okay,
get me
thank
a
you.
clue so that I can find you.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So
Thank you.
sir, you can share it with us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Thank you. Good night. End.